Basketball, like any sport, involves a lot of passion, which can sometimes get a little out of hand. Players will disagree with a referee's call or someone from the opposing team who said something dumb. Tempers will fly, words will be said, which are sometimes later on regretted. Moments like this happen in the NBA all the time. However, some NBA stars have crossed the line though, talking about dead mothers and wives, which is obviously not something you do. Ever. Is there anything more inappropriate than that? Let's take a look at some of the most disrespectful moments in players in the NBA. Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's level of insolence has resulted in him being fined tens of thousands of dollars for a single trash-talking incident. In a 2020 game between the Heat and the Pacers, Butler got into it with TJ Warren. With 6:29 left in the third quarter, he ran around a screen and drove to an open wide paint, but Warren was on his back and grabbed him. Jimmy felt Warren was a little too rough and got up in his face, started yelling things like, "You're f***ing trash," and he called TJ soft. They both got a technical foul for their scuffle. That should have been the end of it, of course, but it's not. TJ and Jimmy got physical on the next play, and Jimmy committed an offensive foul on TJ. So, TJ, of course, started yelling at Jimmy. His yelling swear words and clapping in Jimmy's ears got them both another technical foul, and TJ was sent off. Jimmy responded to TJ's yells by blowing him kisses and smirking in his direction. This little debacle had them each fined $25,000 after the game. In a locker room interview post-game, Jimmy clowned TJ, saying, quote, "I think it's tough for him because I can guard him. He can't guard me." Like at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. I ain't scared of nobody, so he's talking about, oh, we're gonna fight and this and that. It is what it is to me. When the interview brought up TJ's middle finger and Jimmy blowing kisses, Jimmy said, quote, "He's soft. He's not even in my league. Like nowhere near me, and if I was their coach, I would never put him on me. Never again. Put somebody else on me. He's trash." Whew. This man minces no words, it seems. Kevin Garnett. Kevin knew how to take trash talking to a whole new level. Often it was just too far, and he ended up digging where he wasn't supposed to. In the 1999 playoffs, Garnett's team was facing Tim Duncan's team, and Kevin really wanted to win the series. He had been doing everything to get into Tim's head. The worst one came during a game on Mother's Day. Duncan's mother had passed away 9 years earlier from breast cancer. Garnett thought that it was a good way to mess with his head. As Tim stood to take a free throw, Kevin yelled, "Happy Mother's Day, motherfucker." Duncan never responded on or off the court, but went all in on his games against Kevin and made sure to win them. Garnett also went in on Carmelo Anthony during a game scuffle. Garnett shouted in the middle of the scuffle, "Your wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios." Yeah, you guessed it. Garnett used his affair with Anthony's wife against him. It led to an intense fight after the game and had to involve the NYPD. Talk about just plain rude. Michael Jordan. Jordan has built a reputation for trash talking over the years, and some of the things he has said to other players could be put in a book on how to disrespect your opponents. The man even went as far as to get physical with his teammates. Back in 1995, the Bulls had lost to the Magic in the playoffs, so training camp was on a whole new level. Jordan was riding everyone and refusing to tolerate weakness from any corner. New Bulls recruit Steve Kerr was supposed to be a much-needed three-point specialist for the upcoming championship. When Kerr and Jordan went against each other on the court, they got into an argument that got a little physical. During one disagreement with Kerr, Jordan rewarded him with a punch to the face, which gave him a black eye. Players on the other team were surely not exempt from Jordan's temper. The man was not scared of anyone, and he really had it in for the shortest basketball player in history. Muggsy Bogues at 5'3" had to face the Bulls and Jordan during one of their matchups. Jordan went in on him hard, and it doesn't look like his confidence ever recovered. In 1995, during the playoffs, the Hornets and Bulls were all tied up in the series, and they were set to play the deciding game in the series. The Hornets were down by just 1 point, and Bogues had the ball while Jordan was guarding him. Jordan stepped back to give Muggsy space and yelled at him, "Shoot it, you f***ing midget." Muggsy did take the shot, but he missed, and the Bulls won by 1 point and eliminated the Hornets. Muggsy's performance dropped by at least 50% after that game, and he later admitted that the game did in fact ruin his confidence forever. Jordan's reputation is often as a player who tells his guards exactly what he's going to do, does it, and doesn't give him a chance to stop him. A legend in the game of balling and boasting. James Harden. James Harden has always been a wild one. He isn't the type to play quietly and then leave. He's even trash-talked his own teammates. The 31-year-old shooting guard has created memes out of people's careers, turning them into an international joke. Don't forget that the man is a brilliant player. He's been called the best shooting guard in the NBA and has won the most valuable player award. He broke the internet when he sent Wesley Johnson skidding across the court, landing him on his butt after a nasty crossover during the game, staring Wesley straight in his eyes and then draining a three-pointer. In early 2020, Harden was up against Milwaukee Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo for the MVP award, and things got a little nasty. Giannis was the captain of one of the NBA All-Star teams in the All-Star game and needed to draft his team. When he got down to having to pick between Harden, Kemba Walker, and Trae Young, he made it obvious that he wasn't even considering Harden. He said, quote, "I want somebody that's going to pass the ball, and that's what I want." Harden, of course, had to come through with a comeback. In the interview with Rachel Nichols of ESPN, he was asked about the Giannis shade, and he didn't hold back. He said, quote, "I average more assists than him, I think. I don't even see what the joke is, but I didn't even see it. I don't pay attention to stuff like that. I just know that none of them can mess with me." After Nichols mentioned that his manager had talked about how Harden's impact doesn't get appreciated enough, he said, quote, "Yeah, when I'm done, when it's all said and done, they'll appreciate it more. But I wish I could just be 7 feet and run and just dunk. That takes no skill at all. I've got to actually learn how to play basketball and have skill. I'll take that any day." That's some dark shade at Giannis. Then again, Giannis had hit Harden in the head with a basketball a year before, so anyone would be a tiny bit disrespectful in that situation. That aside, Harden is one of those players that have even gone up against his teammates. When he was still with the Rockets, there were games where he talked to his teammates in a way that seemed a little too harsh, and rumors circled that they argued a lot in the locker room. This explains Harden's decision to request a trade, but it really doesn't explain why he did it the way he chose to. The man refused to show up to training camp and instead went out to party with Lil Baby, and when he did show up, he was terribly unfit. Nothing screams disrespect more than compete nonchalance. Kobe Bryant. Bryant was a no-nonsense man. He really didn't care whose feelings he hurt, teammate or not. Winning was the bottom line. One time after a loss, he made his teammates throw out their shoes. His team had suffered a loss in Portland, and most of them were wearing Kobe sneakers. He said to them, "How are y'all gonna play soft wearing these shoes? That's not how we do in LA." He then told them to take off their shoes and puts the pile in the trash, saying, "Y'all don't deserve this." LeBron James. James is not as much of a trash talker as other players, but he does know how to trash talk, and he is as good as it gets. In 2008, the Wizards beat James' Cavs during a regular season game, and Deshaun Stevenson took the opportunity to take a shot at LeBron. In the post-game interview, Deshaun called LeBron overrated and asked to be quoted on that. LeBron said nothing until the playoffs came around and the Cavs and Wizards had to square off. LeBron had built a reputation for making the Washington Wizards look like high school ballers, averaging 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists against them. Did Deshaun really think he would be able to get into LeBron's head? In their playoff match, the Cavs came out on top. After the game, LeBron finally responded to Deshaun by saying, "With Deshaun Stevenson, it's kind of funny. It's almost like Jay-Z responding to a negative comment made by Soulja Boy. It doesn't make sense to respond." Another time, he called out Stephen Curry just to prove a point to his teammates. It was the 2018 NBA Finals. Curry tried to get in for a layup, but James wasn't having it. Their conversation went like this: "Get that shit out of here," after blocking Curry. To which Curry responded, "That's what you want to brag about right now? That's what you care about?" He then pointed to the scoreboard. LeBron shoved Curry and said, "Get out of my face." He then told Curry that he was only trying to be a mentor to the team. Not really disrespectful, but then again, he could have been a little nicer. There you have it, the most disrespectful players in the NBA. Think we missed anyone? Let us know in the comments. Don't also forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you never miss a video.